I explain this in my new uploads about this visual you see right here of the upward and the downward facing triangle. The masculine is at the top of the downward facing triangle, and he's climbing down or funneling down to 0 point, which is the middle pillar. The middle pillar is the point in the center there of the two pyramids, and then the feminine is the one rising or climbing up because she's the one who fell down into the principles of negative, the negative numbers. So all of the negative numbers in the binary system from -1 to infinity represents the feminine situation, okay? And this is the diminishment of the feminine in the story of the Talmud, where the sun and the moon didn't want to share the middle pillar or the 0 point, which represents Malchut, the earth. The earth is the place where everything is coming out of. Everything is being projected from the middle pillar, which is Malchut or the earth. And so the feminine represents climbing up the 7 steps, okay? These are the 7 seals to reach the middle earth or the middle pillar, which is the garden. And then I show in my other video, the symbol of the earth. Malchut is the cross within the circle, or the double cubed altar, okay? This is the tesseract. And basically, this is where they say Eden is in the center, between the 2 pillars here. And so the feminine is climbing up, and the masculine is dropping down. So the masculine has to drop the ideals of the pyramid of the patriarchy, and that's what he actually did in his last incarnation as Jesus. He died. He went to hell, which is the feminine principle and the negative principle. He went there to help her to ascend up the steps or the 7 seals, to enlighten her, and then he rose from the false paradigm, okay? And that was in the last incarnation. So not only did he rise, he rose 14 steps because he conquered over the first 7 that he dropped down. He humbled himself and dropped from his high place because the masculines are having a problem with hubris and their situation of not wanting to let go of the control and the bondage of, like, the whole marriage situation, the old covenant of the 2 Bibles, the 2 bylaws, the binary laws. The masculines want to hold the power of the pyramid of the masculine, and they want to keep the 2 separated, the 2 principles separated, so that they don't meet in the middle, right? And so Jesus overcame that, and he fell from heaven. That's why they call him the morning star. He fell from heaven like Lucifer did, and he dropped down 7 steps. But technically he didn't really drop down. What he did was he climbed up. He climbed up, but it seems like he dropped down, because what he was doing was he was letting go of the false paradigm of the old covenant law, the patriarchal system that was established whenever the cataclysm happened and the flood happened, and the men took over and started to enact their revenge of diminishing the feminine, right? So they didn't diminish the feminine, because the feminine at one time was in the same position that the masculines were in, where they had control over the earth, and they were tyrants, and they were enslaving the men, and this has to do with Atlantis and the whole Atlantis going underwater and all that stuff. And so the men bombed Atlantis, and then they had a reset, and then it completely destroyed our understanding of our history and stuff, because everybody broke off into groups and took their knowledge and turned it into religion, okay? So that's what happened, but the feminine is rising up 7 steps. The masculine went down 14 steps and came back up 7 with the goddess, or with the BINAH, okay, his counterpart. And this is the story of Orpheus. So Orpheus rescued Eurydice from the underworld. The underworld is the feminine principle of the feminine being like the black pillar, and this is where you get racism with the black slavery and bondage and how it's associated with blackness, and the feminine pillar is also associated with bondage and subjugation too, because of the nature of what the masculines did to subconsciously they enacted their fear of losing control and having this happen again where they were in a position of submission and they did the same thing that the women did to the men. They did it back. So yeah, that's what happened. And this has something to do with time travel, but I don't want to get into it right now because I want to keep this very short. Okay, thanks.